What if the most important information you'll ever hear is something you almost skipped? What if one idea, one sentence, one realization could completely change the direction of your life? And what if you never heard it? What if you clicked away right now? Would anything actually change? Maybe not. Or maybe everything.
Because history is full of people whose lives changed because of one small moment, one book, one conversation, one opportunity, one lesson, one decision. And that's exactly what the butterfly effect is all about. The butterfly effect is the idea that small actions can create massive consequences. Tiny causes, huge results. A small decision today can completely change where you end up years from now. Think about it. What if you had never met your closest friend? What if you had never chosen your current job? What if you had never watched a particular video, read a particular book, or heard a particular piece of advice? Your life might look completely different. Most people think life changes because of big events. But those big events usually start with something much smaller. A conversation, a choice, a realization, a moment. Small things don't stay small. They create chains of consequences.
And here's where things get strange. Every decision creates two futures: the path you take and the path you don't. Right now, there are countless possible versions of your future. A version where you start exercising. A version where you don't. A version where you finally start that business. A version where you keep delaying it. A version where you learn a skill that changes your career. And a version where you never learn it. The fascinating thing is that you'll never meet those other versions of yourself. You'll never know what could have happened. You'll never know what opportunities you missed. You'll never know what problems you could have avoided. You'll never know how different your life might have become. Because the future you experience is only one possibility out of millions.
And that brings us to something psychologists find extremely interesting. Human beings have blind spots. Not physical blind spots, mental blind spots. Things we don't know. Ideas we've never heard, mistakes we don't realize we're making, opportunities we can't see. Think about it. You don't know what you don't know, because the biggest thing holding you back right now might be something you're completely unaware of. Maybe it's a skill. Maybe it's a habit. Maybe it's a belief. Maybe it's an idea you've never encountered. And that's why information is so powerful. Not because information magically changes your life, but because information changes decisions. Decisions change behavior, and behavior changes outcomes.
Imagine someone struggling with confidence. For years, they wait to feel confident before taking action. Then, one day, they learn something simple. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence comes after action. Suddenly, everything changes. They stop waiting. They start moving. And little by little, their life improves. Or imagine someone who thinks they're terrible with money. Then, one day, they learn how compound growth works. Nothing magical happens immediately, but they start making different decisions. Years later, their entire future looks different. Again, not because of magic, because of information. One idea changed behavior, and behavior changed the outcome. This is why perspective is one of the most valuable things you can collect. Because perspective changes how you see the world. And when you change how you see the world, you change how you act inside it.
And that's why this channel exists. Not just to entertain you, not just to tell interesting stories, but to ask questions. Big questions, strange questions, questions that make you think differently. Because you never know which idea, which realization,
which perspective might become the turning point in your life. One question can change everything.
Maybe this video changes nothing. Maybe you'll forget it tomorrow. Maybe you'll move on and never think about it again. That's possible. But maybe one sentence sticks. Maybe one idea stays in your mind. Maybe one question follows you long after the video ends. And months from now, you'll realize it changed the way you think. So what if you never watched this video? Maybe nothing would happen. Or maybe you would miss the one idea that changes your future. So here's the real question. What if the next idea you learn is the one that changes everything?